And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you for pretty much coming in and joining us and tuning in to another episode of the Next Up Fantasy Show. So once again, we're here to record, and we're pretty much back again once again, and we're pretty much here to pretty much break down a couple of divisions for y'all, because right now we're in early July, and I know it sounds kind of weird, but early July, this is game time now. We kind of got to start studying. We kind of got to start looking at the positives and the negatives of each teams and each divisions and things like that, with the players that we want, the players that we don't want, things of that nature. And who else besides these two right here to actually help me out with giving that information? And who am I going to introduce first? I think I did Manny last week. So this time it's going to be Mike. So Mr. Mike Thesis, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What time is it? It's in the evening. Good evening. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm always good. Back with my guys. Should have some fun. We have a breakdown we're going to do on a division today, which should really help you guys out when you're drafting, when you're deciding who you might want to draft, who you possibly might not want to draft. I'll remind you guys about some key additions, some key departures. So it should be a good show.
No doubt. And this one is going to be a very fun one, because the person I'm about to introduce right now is the one that actually thought of the idea of actually doing this one this week. So Mr. Manny being Manny, what's good? How you doing?
What's up, everyone? And yes, I wanted to do this one first because if you listen to the last episode, someone owes a dance and they're not doing it. So I'm going to bring up, we are doing AFC West, and I am pumped to bring up the Chiefs, how they came in first and not fourth place again, and break down where they're going to be next, because guess what? Will has to decide where he's putting the Chiefs this year. So I'm excited.
Of course you're excited about that. But overall, yes, this is going to be actually a fun one. And I think probably for the next couple of years, this division can actually be kind of a fun one to actually not only watch, but even try to predict as far as what's going to happen and with each of the teams, because it kind of seems like that everyone is just so similar. There's as far as the positives and negatives of each team, there's like one or two that are a little bit extra, but overall, it kind of seems like each and every team is just about a team that can where it could be pretty much anywhere it goes. That's kind of how I see the AFC West. But and that's just general football. So today we're talking about we're doing fantasy right now, y'all. So let's go ahead and just generally get started. We're gonna go ahead and get started first with the last place Denver Broncos. So if you guys are watching it on YouTube right now, we have a little bit of information as far as what's been going on for the team, but Manny's going to explain a little bit as far as pretty much the same thing, because hey, we got to do it for the podcast too. And I think I got to rub it in one more time that we are doing podcasts too. So yeah, we're doing both Spotify and Apple. So just do yourself a favor. Just throw yourself in. Actually, pause this for a couple of seconds. Then from there go on to Apple Music. Go ahead and add us, and then on Spotify, which apparently a lot of people do more than usual. Add us on Spotify too. So Next Up Fantasy, same name as this. So without further ado, Manny being Manny, what do we got for Denver?
Yeah, before we start too, I want to bring in what Will said. Go leave a 5-star review. If you go leave a comment on who you think the AFC West, like who's going to be the top dog, who is the sneaky pickup of the AFC West. Tell me why I am an idiot thinking what I'm thinking. Let me know, because anything is good. Any advice is good advice if you could take it that way. So I'm ready. Let me know how bad I am. I'm excited to hear from you guys. So we're going to talk first, fourth place, Denver Broncos, kind of like, the car Chevy Bronco. They've been non-existent for the last couple of years until now, which I kind of a hint of where I'm going to put the Broncos for this year. And the reason for that is some key additions. They have Sean Payton. They have Samaje Perine. They also added, they also depart, like the Marvin Mims, the rookie wide receiver. Some key departures. We have the big one, Melvin Gordon. We have, quarterback Russell Wilson, Broncos country, let's ride. We have Javonte Williams now with Melvin Gordon leaving. He is the one and done back end for this team. We also have some stud wide receivers that you guys heard of, Cortland Sutton, and Jared Jeudy. And we have, I call him Greg Dulce as our tight end. So I think if you guys want to bring me back, I kind of want to give you guys like what their rankings. I did an average ranking on Fantasy Pros for half point PPR. Mm-hmm. So we have Russell Wilson is drafted as QB 17. We have Javonte Williams as running back 28, Cortland Sutton as wide receiver 43, Jerry Jeudy as wide receiver 22, and then my guy Greg Dulce at tight end 13. So out of the starting tight ends for fantasy, if you're playing 12-man.
So I guess one of the first thoughts that I have when it comes to each and every one of those players, well, Denver in general, because of course I picked them last year to win the division, period. But like this one, this hits different as far as what the team can actually do this year. I kind of like the fact that they have like an extra, like they have a season under their belt together, with the exception of course the coach who got fired for the last couple of games before their season was finished. But like if you noticed, or if you recall, the last two games for the Broncos was actually pretty elite stat wise, and it was actually pretty acceptable. It was to the point where it's like, okay, where the hell was this Broncos team before, and why weren't they like this before? With Nathaniel Hackett pretty much calling all the shots. We have now we have of course have Sean Payton, who's of course a Super Bowl champion, and pretty much apparently a good friend of or a good fan of Russell Wilson. So I'm actually really going to be curious as far as how this team is going to play, and I'm actually going to be a big fan of at least one or two players on this team as far as fantasy wise. Mike, in general, what are your thoughts about this team?
I like the Broncos this year. Not to win the division or anything like that, but I do agree with you guys as far as the acquisition of Sean Payton. It's going to make a big difference. I don't believe, maybe with the exception of maybe a year or two, and his coaching tenure, I mean, his offense has legit always been like top 10 in scoring. So I do think that that's going to really be a benefit to a lot of the players that are on the team. They have weapons. They're just young, and they kind of have to figure out how to put them together. So I do think that Denver is a team that's heading in the right direction. But that right direction, I don't think will be winning the division or anything. But I do think they'll have some valuable dudes you can use on fantasy this year.
And before Manny asks his question, because for these type of episodes, there's going to be one question that we're going to be, all of us are going to be answering. I just want to generally state out that like the interesting part about this division, what makes this division really fun, is the fact that their defenses, each and every one of the team's defenses, is actually pretty solid. And it kind of seems like that there's no advantage for either of the teams. So once these division games actually play in, like it's going to be either going to be the best defensive games that we're going to see all year, or it's going to be one where like they know each other so well that they can end up scoring like a bunch of points, and it's going to be like total blowouts, and there's going to be so many overs that's going to be done in Vegas. So that being said, Manny, what question do you have for us for the Denver Broncos?
All right, so I have a two-parter. First, with Russell Wilson getting a quarterback coach, essentially, Sean Payton dealt with Drew Brees and his aging factor. Mm-hmm. Russell Wilson can't rush like he used to, so that's kind of going to hurt him in fantasy value, and I think that's why they dropped him out to the QB 17. But if you are the type of player, fantasy player like I am, where you don't draft the QB early and you you get running backs and wide receivers early, and then you wait until like that 10th to like 15th round to get your first quarterback, I think Russell Wilson is a potential here to be so low on ADP that he could actually do well at his current value. His strength of schedule per quarterback is the 5th best in the league. And that is because if you think about it, when you know how the NFL schedules their schedule is they came in last place. So they're going to play everybody in the AFC, the last place teams. And I believe their NFC teams that they're matched up against are not great. So I think Russell Wilson is a potential draft steal. If you don't even have to draft him. He might go undrafted in some leagues. That's one. And I want to hear your guys' take on that. Mm-hmm. Two, with the departure of Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams being the lone back, yes, you have Samaje Perine, but as we know, Samaje is more of a catchback, kind of a third down back. Javonte is going to get majority of the workload. In my opinion, him being drafted RB28, that is your RB2, is actually great. To have – name another RB2 that you could get, consistency like Javonte Williams. So that's my two takes, and let me hear it.
All right, let's have him hear it. So first things first, I'll go ahead and start off with the Russell Wilson take. I feel that it really depends. It really generally depends on how you create your team in this case, because I see that with Russell Wilson, just like you said, he's not really that much of a runner anymore. He still can do it, but it's not going to be something that's going to be consistent. So he's not going to be needed in that realm. However, Sean Payton is kind of more notorious for being a person that just likes the run. He establishes the run like there's no tomorrow. If you recall a bunch of his teams. So that being said, like, is there enough like for Russell Wilson to be relevant in my eyes? I need some kind of assurance that he's going to get 4,000 yards passing, at least 4,000 yards passing and at least 28 touchdowns, passing touchdowns. So from there, I asked myself, is it something that I could see him doing? I'll say close. I think the touchdowns can be there because I feel that that the passing is going to be actually something else this year. But as far as like the passing yards, I don't think that he gets to 4,000 at least this year. If Peyton still wants to establish that run. So that's my take on the Russell Wilson. As far as the second question, all right, no cap. I actually forgot the second question. What was the second question?
No, it's okay. With Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams. Okay. All right. So with Javonte Williams, like, I'm still kind of skeptical with his injury, and everyone should be skeptical about injuries. But it does look like that everything is kind of looking on the positive when it comes to the injury updates and the injury reports that I see, and he does seem to be like a lone person as far as the depth chart. Like Tony Jones is part of that depth chart, and he was with Seattle last year. Samaje Perine, just like you said, is part of the is more so part of the passing game. And I can't recall the name of the rookie that they drafted. On top of that, Tyler Batty, I think it is. He is gonna. He doesn't. It doesn't seem like that anything significant is going to come out of him. So if anything, it won't be anything that's going to happen now, but probably more so towards the end of the season where he'll get some kind of play. But as of right now, Javonte Williams, I can see him as a running back too, but it'll be one of those where you just have to be a little bit more careful. And it's more so running back too, even considering him as maybe even a flex. It depends on where you can actually get him right now. Mike, Russell Wilson thoughts? Russell Wilson and Javonte Williams thoughts?
I hate to be this guy, you guys, but yeah, I'm kind of on the other way with this one, or kind of in the middle, depending on how you want to look at it. When it comes to Russell Wilson, I kind of lean towards. I'm not saying that he's done, but I don't think that Sean Payton's going to make Russell Wilson be the determining factor in them being successful. I don't think he's going to depend on Russell Wilson to really win games. I think Russell Wilson's going to be kind of a complementary quarterback to whatever else is going on in the offense. With that being said, I don't think that he would be a bad person to pick, but you're just going to need to make sure that that's your route that you go. You're going to want to draft him really late. You're not going to want to draft him early, and you're going to want to make sure that your position players are really strong in other areas. You're going to need strong receivers, strong running backs, because Russell Wilson there might be a couple weeks where he might be a top 5 quarterback, but I don't think that I think those days have kind of are gone, unfortunately. And I do like Russ. And as far as Javonte Williams is concerned, I like the talent, but I just don't. It's hard for me to trust him. I heard that he was kind of recovering slow from the ACL. I'm not too sure like how he's doing right at this moment, but I heard the recovery was slow initially. And the fact that they went out and got Samaje Perine and like made that an emphasis, like they really like chased him. I don't know if that looks or if that bodes well for Javonte Williams. Plus, he's coming off an injury that's hard to come back from and be effective. I think that he could end up being still later on in the year, though. I do think like in those important playoff weeks, maybe down the stretch, the back half of the schedule, he can really be impactful and he can really help. But if you're drafting a guy hoping he can help you second half of the season, just be careful and make sure you don't spend an early draft pick on him. I think right now his ADP is like in the 90s. So I might wait a little longer than that to draft him. But yeah.
So before we go, I the reason why I say Russell Wilson is the key factor is that strength of schedule. They are not like Russell Wilson playing like teams like. Let me pull it up. Let me see if I could get this quickly. They are playing this year in the AFC. Yes, the Jets are going to be tough. They play the Browns. They play the Texans. And they play, so Texans, Browns, Jets are the other 3 that came like last. I think Jets are going to be tough, right? Browns, I think he could. The Texans, that's one league where he's going to dominate. I have to double check to see where they're playing in the NFC, which division. But imagine if they're playing the South or the North, where they're playing all these like teams one time. That's like majority of their lineup. Yes, they're in the AFC West. It's going to be tough. Also, I want to do something kind of fun for you guys. Javonte Williams, 28th. Like I said, RB 28th. Would you take Rachaad White over Javonte Williams?
No.
Rachaad White's 24. Would you take David Montgomery over Javonte?
Probably.
For Detroit, even though there's a backup?
I'm going to go.
I would.
I'm going to go no. Actually, I'm going to go with no. I can't.
Okay, so Mike, that's where your cutoff is the 25th because I'm more fearful of Gibbs. So that's why I went and take Montgomery. DeAndre Swift in Philly, would you draft him over Javonte Williams? Swift is going to see what they do to the Eagles. They don't stick to one back. So I'm just curious.
Yes, I would.
And then Will?
Yes.
So you would get Swift over Javonte?
Swift over Javonte, yes. Even
with injuries and all that? Okay, and then the last one we'll get to later, but it's Isaiah Pacheco, which is 27th, which is right above him. And in my head, I'm taking Javonte over all of them because the timeshare. There's really no one. Yes, Samaje Perine, but he's only really a third down back. And the other ones are all timeshares.
I think what makes me say yes to the players that I picked, DeAndre Swift, among the others that I said yes to, was the general fact that there's more of a scoring upside on each of those players. As much as I feel that Denver is going to improve, I'm still very questionable as far as how much their scoring is going to improve on this with this team. Personally, like we didn't really talk about him much on here, but I do like Jerry Jeudy this year. I don't think, even though Cortland Sutton is like usually is the number 2, I don't think that Cortland Sutton does anything additional. Cortland ended up actually messing up a ton last year, and I think he still had like a couple of injury issues here and there. I had him on one of my teams, and he kept on failing me week after week after week, and even though I kept keeping him in. But like with them having Marvin Mims being signed, plus Tim Patrick is actually not that bad. If Cortland Sutton declines, I can even see it to the point where Cortland Sutton doesn't even play with Denver this year. It's kind of harsh, but that's kind of a reality. But yeah, back to the running backs. Genuinely, I just don't see enough just yet for Javonte Williams for me to actually pick him up at even with his current ADP right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that we all have different takes, I think, is awesome because I mean that's fantasy football, right? Certain people feel strongly about a certain player, other people's don't. Like I know you guys said you're a little concerned about Jamar Mims. I'm really not from watching him play at Alabama. Like he's a pass catching back, so I think that when they get in short yardage work, I think David Montgomery's going to get the result of that. I mean, he might end up with 20-something touchdowns like Jamal Williams had last year. I don't know.
Right.
He won't be catching very many balls out of the backfield though, but he'll be getting the short yardage work. So that doesn't really fear. I don't feel bad about his situation where he's at, but. With Javonte, like I said, I like the talent. It's just injury, and that's really why I'm kind of like backing off of him. If he comes out this, I mean, the guy will probably run for 2,000 yards this year, and I'll be like, all right, well, it's Javonte Williams. But the talent's there. It's just I just can't trust him to be healthy, and I hate to be like that, but that's how.
Okay.
No, and just like I said, it's good. It's good to have different opinions. So it's good that we all have different thoughts, and then from there, the audience gets to decide which take that they like best.
Yep. And then before we go, I want to get this out. At AFC West plays their division, and the AFC is the AFC North, so they'll play every team in the AFC North plus the teams that I just said at the fourth place, and then they're paired up with the NFC West for the NFC. So that's like the schedule we're looking at.
Right. All right. So they play Cincy, Baltimore,
Cleveland,
and the other two. Yeah, Cleveland and
Pittsburgh.
Thank you.
Yep. And then they play your guys' division for the NFC.
That's not bad. I actually look forward to that, actually. So next up, we actually went longer than I expected for a last place team.
Sorry. Right, we'll speed it up. We'll speed it up a little bit.
We'll try to speed it up, and we're going to go to the next team, which is going to be my Las Vegas Raiders. So the Raiders, they actually had a more fun offseason this year, and I'm actually looking forward to getting everyone's opinion on this one to see what it actually ends up saying with mine. So we'll go back to Manny. Manny, additions, subtractions.
Yep, I got it. So Raiders record 2022 was 6-11. They came in third place. Key additions: Jimmy G, Jacoby Myers, and they drafted Michael Mayer. Key departures are Darren Waller and Derek Carr. QB, like I said, Jimmy G, he's ranked QB 26, and his QB strength of schedule is one above Russell at 6 best. Running back, Josh Jacobs is the RB7. Devontae at wide receiver is Devontae Adams at wide receiver 8. Jacoby Myers, wide receiver 47. And Hunter Renfrow, wide receiver 68. You also have Michael Mayer. He's tight end 29. And they also have Austin Hooper if that doesn't work out. But Michael Mayer seems to be the starter for the draft capital that they got him.
Okay. So my immediate thought about this team is like, it's kind of funny how you can't even really call it a drop, but like, are you guys? I'll ask. I know you got a question, Manny, but I need to ask: Are you guys interested in Devontae Adams this year?
No.
Nope.
Not at all.
Nope.
Okay. It's just that's just a scary situation. Like and like just like what we talked about last year with Jimmy G when he was with the Niners. He's a time manager. He's not gonna be a guy that's gonna give you all the yards. He's not gonna be the guy that's gonna give you all the touchdowns. So with that, like it creates kind of a chain reaction for the remainder of the team, and that's everyone from Jacoby Myers, Michael Myers, Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams, every single even Josh Jacobs can have some kind of decrease. And I just generally think that like it's kind of tough for me to have any kind of trust into anyone from the Raiders, probably except Jacobs. Mike, your thoughts?
I agree. I like Jacobs. A lot of people don't, though. I've been reading that a lot of people are like not feeling him this year.
That was me last year.
I know. I feel like he's going to be their main option because they don't really have a lot else. We all know Jimmy G is not going to throw the deep ball. He doesn't throw the deep ball. He doesn't do it. I think when he's on the 49ers, I think Beathard had better deep ball percentage than him. Well, Trey Lance had a better deep ball percentage than him. Like everybody had a better deep ball percentage than him. So he's not going to do it. So the fact that he's unwilling to do so or he's incapable of doing so, I think it's going to really hurt the Raiders as far as from a fantasy standpoint. Now, Hunter Renfrow might benefit. He might be that underneath guy who gets a lot of balls thrown his way. But I just don't think that Devontae Adams will be able to stretch his legs like he used to be able to when he had, Aaron Rodgers and those quarterbacks like that. Even a Derek Carr, who I feel is better than Jimmy G. So unfortunately, I'm not really feeling too optimistic about the Raiders this year, but I could be wrong.
One, yes, I agree that Jimmy G is not better than Derek Carr. Two, I'm actually very curious about how Michael Myers is going to play for his rookie year. Tight end rookies aren't really like the best. Like Kyle Pitts 2 years ago ended up doing monster numbers. He didn't score a touchdown. I think he scored one. But he still got 1,000 yards, and that's pretty decent for any tight end. But as far as But I'm kind of thinking with how Jimmy G used to throw it well with George Kittle with San Francisco. George Kittle, of course, or Michael Myers is not by any means George Kittle, but if he still has that motion, or if he still has those dunk offs to tight ends, then I'm actually kind of curious as far as how Michael Myers is going to fare out. I'm not saying that he's going to be someone that you're going to draft, but like there could be a tight end advantage game where he actually might be used pretty well. So Manny, what is the question that you got for the Raiders?
Question. So we, as a podcast, do not like the Raiders, and we're avoiding the Raiders at all costs. Well, I am. I don't trust Josh Jacobs this year. I don't trust Jimmy G, because think of Jimmy G's previous coaches. He had Shanahan and he had the GOAT, Bill Belichick. Now he's going to Josh McDaniels. So he doesn't have – I don't think he's had – I think he's a system quarterback.
Right.
He has to prove something. Yes, Devontae Adams is going to get his, but I don't want him at wide receiver 8. But my question is, if you are the slim 1%ers, maybe there's more. Jimmy G is QB 26. Like I said, strength of schedule is 6th best. He has the weapons. He has Josh Jacobs. He has Devontae Adams. He has Jacoby Myers, who came from the Patriots, that scored the last 5 weeks, or 4 to 5 weeks, a touchdown in each one of those weeks. Right. And we saw the breakout of Hunter Renfrow last year. He loses Darren Waller, but how do you guys feel at Jimmy G, QB 26, a starting quarterback that's QB 26?
First things first, this has been on my mind since the last section, but I have to do the correction real quick, because I'm pretty sure your guys are going to do this to me in the future as well. You said Chevy Bronco, but it should have been Ford Bronco.
I know, I said that right when I said Chevy Bronco. It's because Michigan.
Detroit, what? I get it. I had to say that, but okay. Yeah. So as far as Jimmy G, I just can't. I can't trust him. Period. There's no way I can do anything with him, at all. Like even if I played in a 2 quarterback league where we're mandated to have a second quarterback, I can't pick Jimmy G right now. Like there's not enough upside for him to give me any kind of consideration, even in a 2 quarterback league. Like I would prefer, and this is gross, but I would prefer Desmond Ridder over Jimmy G if that's the case, because of the upside. Because of the rushing upside. I would prefer, God forbid, I'm about to say a sin right here. I would prefer Baker Mayfield over Jimmy G right now. And they have similar whatchamacallit. They have similar weapons when it comes to the wideouts anyway. But actually Jimmy G probably has them better. But I would probably still prefer Baker Mayfield over Jimmy G right now. And I'm bashing like hell right now, but that's just a representation of how I feel right now with him.
I don't like him. Next.
I like it. Okay, we'll make it short and sweet.
And that's it.
I'm just teasing. But no, I agree with everything you guys said. And yeah, I just, Jimmy, now he wins games.
Yes.
He does win games. So if we're looking at outside of fantasy, it might be great for the Raiders to have him. He might win more games than Derek Carr. But for fantasy purposes, I don't like him.
I like it.
And I mean, what more can you say?
So we're avoiding the Raiders as a podcast.
So as a podcast, like I can literally go like 5 miles from here and probably go to 5-10 miles. I'll go to Allegiant Stadium right now.
I want to apologize now to the city of Las Vegas because I love everyone out there. I would like to apologize to RJ because he's my boy, and also CJ. But it's the Raiders, man.
Yep.
It's just bruh. Okay, moving on. I'm actually ecstatic for this next team. Like as ecstatic as I was with the Eagles last year, that's how ecstatic I am with the team we're about to talk about right now, and that's the LA Chargers. It still sounds weird to say LA Chargers, but I'm slowly getting the hang of that right now. There wasn't really much that the Chargers did this offseason, and it kind of seemed like realistically they didn't really have to do much. Eckler almost left, and I'm actually glad that he actually ended up staying. But Manny, this should be a quick and easy one. Tell us more about the Chargers.
Oh yeah, Chargers 2022 record 10-7. They got beat by the Jacksonville Jaguars to in the playoffs, right? Did they was it in the playoffs or was it week 17?
It was playoffs.
It was playoffs. Lost, and then the year before they lost. They needed a tie, and Raiders went and kicked a field goal. But their key additions are Quentin Johnston. He got drafted in the first round, picked 21st overall. Key departures, and I put in a question mark because Keenan Allen supposedly is supposed to get cut because of cap room, but he's still on the team. Quarterback Justin Herbert, Fantasy Pros has him at QB 7. Austin Eckler. Oh yeah, let's go to the rank. The strength of schedule is 19th for the Chargers, and the reason why is because they're playing all the second best teams in each one of those divisions. You have running back Austin Eckler. He is RB2. Mike Williams, our wide receiver 28th, is a wide receiver. You have Quentin Johnston. They have them. The Chargers have them listed as the wide receiver 1 that I saw. At wide receiver 44, Keenan Allen at wide receiver 17th, and then I added Josh Palmer because he's going to be into my question at wide receiver 78. And then their tight end is Gerald Everett at tight end 16. And by looking at this, I'll do my little breakdown real quick. Then you guys can do. By looking at this, they have Quentin Johnston at wide receiver 44, and you have Jacoby Myers at wide receiver 47. So that's how much. If you want to do like a kind of comparison, a Jacoby Myers type player as a rookie. So I'll let you guys go from there.
First off, I would pick Quentin Johnson all day over Jacoby Myers.
Okay.
That's how much I like this Chargers team. And it comes with the reasoning behind it is kind of similar to how the Bengals were last year, where they have experience under their belt as a team. They're going to be more in tune, more in sync as far as one another. Keenan Allen, I will admit that I have a little bit of concern for him, but I don't think that it should be that big of an issue. But I do think that he's actually going to stay on the team. But even if he does, like where Keenan Allen is being drafted right now, I would and where the other receivers are for the Chargers, I would actually prefer not Quentin Johnson, Mike Williams. I would prefer Mike Williams over where he's being drafted versus Keenan Allen where he's being drafted right now. And the main reason why I'm such a fan of the Chargers this year is because of your guys' boy Kellen Moore. He's calling the shots. And everything is going to be it's going to be so much faster, so much like the call playing, the amount of plays that they'll be doing in a game is going to be so much faster. And of course, fantasy football is about the opportunities, like how many plays are going to be called and things of that nature. And like I feel that just because of the play calling, and coaches do matter. I just have the strongest feel that that the Chargers are going to be something else. Manny visually disagrees. It looks like Mike. I'm kind of scared of what you think. But we got to hear it. So let's go.
Chargers. I'm not falling into this whole. Well, it's fantasy. So for fantasy perspective, Chargers will be awesome. They really will be. They will be.
Yes.
Kellen Moore, he always has top, offenses. He's going to make sure that those premium players get the ball. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch. They'll be really explosive and all of that good stuff. So for fantasy purposes, they're going to be awesome. Now, when it comes to real football, I don't know. I mean, Kellen Moore, you guys saw that last play of the year last year? He might decide to put Austin Eckler as center, and he might decide to hike it back to Quentin Johnson, and I don't know, hope for the best. Kellen Moore, he's really spicy, man. Like, he does a lot of stuff that's not needed, but I don't want to be a hater. I do agree that they have the weapons. I'm not as high on Quentin Johnson as you. I watched him a lot in college. He only really runs one route. He's really good at that one route, but he's just going to go deep and try to catch the ball. But I mean, that's what coaching's there for. Him being with the program now, working with receivers like Keenan Allen, who could probably teach him other routes on the route tree. I do think that he'll be effective. Maybe probably more like in year 2 or year 3. But hey, for a number 3 wide receiver, he has a lot of upside. So that's probably the only person I'm not as high on as you. But other than that, yeah, the Chargers will be explosive. They have Herbert back there. They have weapons all over the place. It should be a fun team to watch.
And I'll just throw a quick statement that I feel that if I recall, based on the ADP, that I believe Manny said that he's going out as quarterback number 7, and I believe QB7 now is somewhere in the 5th or 6th round.
69. He's over 69 overall.
So 69 overall. So I believe that's 12, 24, 30, 40, 60. 72. Yeah, so just so late in the 5th round. So I wouldn't mind taking a shot at him if I don't at that range, at that ADP, if there's nobody else around at that time that I have full confidence in. If I have the rest of my positional players set, which I feel is going to be a safe enough floor, then I may pick Justin Herbert as my quarterback if I can get him, and if no one else picks him earlier. I think people that are more casual are going to pick him earlier. But where Justin Herbert is right now, that's a nice sweet spot to pick a acceptable floor quarterback with a good upside, and that's what I see in Justin Herbert.
I like that. So my take is, you're guys gonna laugh. I don't trust Mike Williams because he's like glass. You guys were talking about Javonte Williams, and then Mike Williams is worse than Javonte Williams because he's been around longer. The dude, I mean, he gives it all out, right? Every catch, it looks like he's hurt. Keenan Allen, like you said, at wide receiver 17, could possibly be a steal because if he gets cut, he's going to get signed up by a team that's like needing a wide receiver. So I think I like Keenan Allen, but if I'm in the top 5, I'm picking Austin Eckler. So if I'm a top 5 pick, I say 1, I'm picking the 1, which is Christian McCaffrey. Like, that's kind of a – Mike might not agree, but me and Will agreed last year, and it turned out right, So, but Austin Eckler is one of the best just because he could catch and he scores at the goal line. If they start pulling that, like I think they did that a little bit where they were putting Josh Kelly in at the goal line, that's scary because that loses a lot for Austin Eckler. But I like Austin Eckler. My question to you guys, Keenan Allen leaves. He gets cut. Josh Palmer's sitting there at wide receiver 78. Yes, it's before the season and before people draft. But if you're going into a draft and he's 194th overall, wide receiver 78, I feel like that's a steal at his current ADP. Let me know what you guys think, because when Mike Williams and Keenan Allen were both injured, Josh Palmer stepped up, and he was like one of the great pickups for those weeks. So I'm curious what you guys think.
Now, I feel that the catch for that would be that both of them would have to be hurt, just like you said. If both Williams and Keenan Allen are gone, then Palmer is going to be he'll get attention. I'll just leave it at that.
I think only one needs to be gone. He did good when it was like Mike Williams and Josh Palmer was taking over for Keenan Allen.
I think with Josh Palmer, like he's not like there's probably going to be times throughout these series that we're going to talk about players that are going to be good at redrafting and who's going to be good at best ball. Like Josh Palmer is more so on the best ball side versus a redraft. So I can't be a guy that would like draft him even if it was the last person, even on my last pick, simply. But as far as best ball, I'm willing to take that chance in the event that there is that injury. But no, I still feel if you said Keenan Allen is number 17 is a wide receiver of 17.
Yep, and I could tell you right now if you give me 2 seconds on who's around him.
Yeah.
So we have we'll go 5 up, 5 down. All right, so it'll be easier that way. So we have 5 up. You have at 12. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, T. Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
You have Chris Olave,
Mm-hmm.
Devontae Smith, which I would take Keenan Allen over Devontae Smith, DK Metcalf,
mm-hmm.
Amari Cooper, and then Keenan Allen, and then I'll go 5 under. And this is where you're like wanting these players. Let's see if you want to jump any of them. You got Deebo Samuel, Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore, and Scary Terry, and Jerry Jeudy. So your guy, Jerry Jeudy. So
would I take any of those?
Any of like Deebo, Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin. The thing that's hard is Keenan Allen. We don't know where he's going to play. Because if he plays, like, say he signs with, like, the next team we talk about, the Chiefs, that dude's going to be a stud. Once if he signs with the Raiders and has Jimmy G as his quarterback. Like, I'm just – we're avoiding Devontae Adams. We probably would avoid Keenan Allen at that situation.
Deebo Samuel, actually, no. I wouldn't draft Deebo over him. I wouldn't draft Calvin Ridley over him. There's still some question marks, but I actually do like Calvin Ridley this year. What are the other 3?
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore, no. Scary Terry, no.
And Jerry Jeudy, no.
Jerry Jeudy, maybe. Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy mini, that's a long shot, but that's still. But I would probably consider it. No, I would draft Keenan Allen over like most of those people. So, go ahead.
Would you do Keenan Allen over Devontae Smith?
No.
Keenan Allen over DK Metcalf?
No.
Okay. So as right now, this is like perfect for you.
Like that to me, that's good. That's good as far as where it is.
Okay.
Mike, thoughts?
No, I agree. I would probably take him right there. I might take him personally. I might take him over Devontae Smith, but it'd be close. But yeah, I like him. I like him where he's at.
I would take him over DK Metcalf. Geno Smith had one good year.
You think he's a one and done this year?
Well, no, not one and done. But I would trust the offense, like we were talking with Chargers offense with Justin Herbert over Geno Smith.
Everyone in a heartbeat would do that. I get it.
So,
and so moving on, we're saving the worst for last. I had to see him laugh and say that. So we are talking about the champion Kansas City Chiefs. I'm gonna have some words about this, and it's not gonna probably be what you guys think, but let's go ahead and just start off with Manny with the notes.
All right, 2022, 14-3, champions, not fourth place. Key additions. They really haven't had any key additions fantasy-wise. Key departures, though, they had 2 wide receivers go. They had Juju, which Will has to do the dance. McCole Hardman, quarterback, the great Pat Mahomes. He's QB1. His strength of schedule 17th for the QB strength of schedule. You have for running backs Isaiah Pacheco at RB 27, Jerick McKinnon at RB 41, and I just threw in Clyde Edwards, but because he's a name, but he probably won't see the field much based on his performance last year. Your wide receivers, you have MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. At wide receiver 75, you have Kadarius Toney at wide receiver 40. and Sky Moore at wide receiver 62, and the great Travis Kelce as your tight end at tight end 1. He's number 7 overall.
Well, first of all, that Travis Kelce as number 7 overall, I'm not saying that it's bad, but it's just interesting just to even think about. I'm going to say the same take that I took last year, and I'll probably have hush. The reason why I even stated what I stated last year was because of the fact of 2 things. One, Travis Kelce is getting up there in age. He was like that last year. Now he's a year older. But like now, I'm curious to see whether or not if he can still do it. But he's going to be okay. He's going to be all right. But as far as the numbers and the stats that he has, can it be consistent? That's all I want to know. That's one.
Inconsistent. And two, down increase. Yeah. How can you assume it?
I don't want to cut you off, but after this segment, I want Manny to look up, because I honestly don't know. I want you to tell me how much older Travis Kelce is than Christian McCaffrey. If we can get a comparison on how much, because he's old, right? Because I just want to know how much older he is.
Travis Kelce's 33.
I thought he was like 33 or 34. Okay. I thought it was 30. I thought it was.
What's McCaffrey like? 29, 30?
27.
He's younger.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. No, you're 100% right. I was wondering.
Christian, I mean, you got to add 5 years when you're a running back.
Most definitely. Yeah.
With his injury, I was wondering. I'm not going to lie about that. But no. So the second part, which I'm still going to have continuous questions, and you can't deny if there was any kind of questions behind this. How are the wide receivers going to do this year? Like Patrick Mahomes is expected to be number 1, and that's fine. If he is, that's fine. But like I think there was another podcast that I listened to. They ended up saying that they see him doing 40 touchdowns this year. Like I just want to generally know who is there going to be someone that's going to be taking the bulk as far as the wide receiver side. I'm not going to look into Kelce right now, but as far as wide receiver side, like who out of those receivers can give me, let's say, 9 touchdowns?
Kadarius Toney.
Do you feel Kadarius can do that?
Yes.
And if he gets that, then he'll be for sure 1,000 yards. That's my assumption. So if that's the case, if that's how you feel, then Kadarius Toney should be. He's good where he is right now. Like he might even be a steal, to be honest. But I'm still going to have the questions on the back of my mind as far as how the receivers are going to do. They call it the age model. Is the age model for Travis Kelce going to catch up to him? And that's pretty much my personal main questions and thoughts, Mike.
So wait. With Travis Kelce, the age. Sorry, the age. Before we go. You can't say it's going to catch up to him when he had his best year last year. 110.
What I'm saying is, can it or will it?
He had the most receptions, the most yards, the most touchdowns in his career last year.
Okay.
That's only a year ago.
Okay.
So he's in this, if you think about it, in his prime. Yes, he's 30. What was he, 33? But still, it's not going to just fall. He's not going to just be unless he's injured, it's not going to go 12 touchdowns to nothing.
I'm not saying that's going to happen. You're just over exaggerating now. But what I'm saying, well, like I said, I said that for Travis Kelce, he's going to be fine. I know he's going to be fine.
The draft capital's tough. I get that.
And that's kind of where I'm asking all these questions. So if you draft him 7, actually go ahead and look it up. You were looking at a couple other things. Who's around Travis Kelce right now?
All right. Sorry, Mike.
No, take your time.
Overall,
this is a good conversation.
So before him is Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
Right after him is Jonathan Taylor. I don't know how far you want me to go. I'll do the top 12. Christian McCaffrey, Justin Jefferson, Austin Eckler, Jamar Chase, Bijan Robinson, Barkley, Kelce, Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp, Nick Chubb, Tyreek Hill, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard. I just went to 13, so I had to throw Tony Pollard in there.
Of course, you have to put Tony Pollard. So as So as far as where Kelsey is right now, one of the questions that I ended up asking was, it's Travis Kelsey as far as the tight ends, and then it's everybody else. Like, is there enough trust in that capital and a draft capital to pretty much draft a tight end that early if you feel that he's going to have he pretty much needs legitimate wide receiver stats? Like, do you have the confidence in him that he'll be able to get it this year?
I mean, he's got it. He's got over 1,000 yards every year since 2015.
Mike?
I actually like the Chiefs wide receivers more than you probably do. I'm okay with Kadarius Toney. I think Kadarius Toney is really explosive as long as he can stay healthy. That being the key part, I think they'll be fine. I even like Valdez Scantling. I think he's decent. I think he's okay. I mean, he's not gonna wow you, but I mean, he can take the top off of defense. He can go deep and catch the balls. And I actually like a guy who you guys didn't really mention, but he was drafted this year from SMU. I like Rashee Rice.
Yes,
I really do. I think that he's now. I kind of jumped the gun a little early last year on Sky Moore, so I'm kind of a little more hesitant with rookies this year. But I do think that Rashee Rice has really good ability, and it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up being an integral part of that offense. And they still have Sky Moore too, who I think will do better this year than he did last year. So I think the receivers are more than enough for Pat because he's awkward. And he might throw a left hand pass here. He's going to do what he does anyway. I think as long as those guys can get open, I think he'll find them. And then, like you said, you have that wonderful security blanket that is Travis Kelsey, who I don't see dropping off this year personally. But I mean, yeah, I think the offense will be good. It'll be fun. I think the receivers are, in my opinion, a little better than they're getting credit for. We'll see.
Okay. And Manny, what's your question?
The reason why I didn't put Rice in there is because they have him behind Kadarius Toney, but I could easily see him going in for MVS and putting MVS for the long, third down plays. But yeah, my question is, how do you guys feel Isaiah Pacheco? If you guys paid attention to the playoffs, he kind of broke out, right? In the Super Bowl and in the playoffs, he's the number one RB27, but they also signed Jerick McKinnon midway through the season. Didn't really get the reps that he needed with the team. He was the RB2. We've seen what he did in San Francisco. Wasn't he with Miami for a little short time too, at the beginning of the season? Or was it? Am I dreaming that?
I don't think it was McKinnon.
But yeah, okay. So he was with the 49ers. And you also have Clyde Edwards there as well. How comfortable do you guys feel Isaiah Pacheco as your RB2 with Jerick McKinnon and Clyde Edwards still in that backfield?
Not.
I think it's more like the end of the year push, how good he was doing. And this is kind of why I think his ADP is really high. So I that's why I wanted to bring it up.
Well, I mean, I guess it's more so based on what you expect out of him. Like what do you want from from Pacheco? Like CEH, I really wish CEH did a whole lot better last year. But of course they bring back McKinnon because of course he was their hero the year before last, I believe. He was a fantasy darling for the last 5 games that year. But they brought him back just for the experience because he knows the system. And if anything, McKinnon is going to be probably, I could see like a mentor to Pacheco to learn the system for Kansas City. But I can't have enough confidence just yet in Pacheco. But again, it's kind of similar to Kelsey where he's going to be fine as far as an RB. I think you call him an RB2. Maybe an RB3, but I still need to. I need to see it. I need to see it more consistently coming out of him. I just need more. That's all I need.
I'll bring up the players that are under him, and tell me where you would draft over. I'll do the 5, kind of like what I was doing for both of you guys, because when I say these players, you're going to be like, I'm not drafting Pacheco. And like I said, some of these don't have teams yet.
Okay.
But you have Alvin Kamara at ranked 29. You have Delvin Cook because he doesn't have a team. I'm assuming he's going to jump up. But as we're talking right now, Delvin Cook is 30th overall, RB 30. You have James Cook from Buffalo, and then Brian Robinson, and then 33 was AJ Dillon. So that's kind of like the 5 under him. And did I say Javonte Williams? Sorry. So Javonte Williams is right under him. Alvin Kamara, Delvin Cook, and James Cook.
Alvin Kamara, I mean, there hasn't been anything official with him yet, as far as the suspension. So, even if he's that low, and if he's still there, and you already have your team stacked up and everything, if you want to draft him, go ahead. That's for Kamara. James Cook, I think he's going to be okay. He's not going to be great. He's just going to be fine. I mean, his brother doesn't even have a job. So what makes us think that James Cook is going to be fine? Brian Robinson, I'm not really thinking about that much anymore. Great story last year. But I don't think I can trust anyone in Washington right now. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I would draft I would draft Pacheco over any of those running backs right now.
Really?
There's no. I would do it because
the opposite. I said the opposite. Yeah.
Maybe okay. There's probably only one exception. I just like I said, Alvin Kamara. That's the only exception. But outside of that, I would draft Pacheco over all of them.
I'm drafting Javonte Williams over him because the workload.
Of course.
Right.
I mean, he's the only back compared to the 3.
Yeah. I don't know. Even like with the whole like the Javonte Williams workload, like I don't know. This might be bold to you guys, but I'm not sure I don't know. I think P. Ryan's going to be an important factor. I just do. And I also think that Javonte Williams, I mean, he just really hasn't shown us he can stay healthy. I mean, we're going to go back to the health thing. But I think P. Ryan is going to, he might take his job, man. I really feel that way.
I want to see that. That would be fun.
Yeah, it would be fun if nothing else, right? So
right.
They're both. I like P. Ryan. Yeah. I mean, I like Pacheco. I would probably take Kamara over him in that situation. Who are some of the other guys you said? I might take him over Cook though. I would take Pacheco.
Both Dalvin and James. Both Dalvin and James Cook.
I would take Pacheco over James Cook. Dalvin, I'm not sure yet. But as soon as he gets on a team, yeah, I would probably take Dalvin over Pacheco. So I would take Dalvin over Pacheco. I would also take Kamara over Pacheco, but I would probably take Pacheco over all the rest of those guys.
Right.
Okay.
That's my stance. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And I would add Javonte. I think Javonte Williams will be over Pacheco. Like, that's right. Right.
And I think all of us like Javonte Williams. We were talking about him last year. How much like I remember
I liked him last year.
Yeah, you loved him.
I did.
But yeah, we all love him as a player, but like fantasy wise, like I may choose others. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So we're about to wrap this up. So we're just gonna do quick. It's just gonna be a quick question and answer. We'll go ahead and start with
I'll take it.
What was that?
So I'll take it. What are we doing? We're doing standings now?
We're doing what?
We're doing the standings now. Who's going to first, second, third? What are we doing?
Yeah, let's do that. Division winner.
Okay. Division winner for me, AFC West. I think that the Kansas City Chiefs will finish in last. No. Not me. Not this guy. No, I'm gonna pretty much keep it in the order that I had it. I think I had the Chiefs winning the division, of course, about 13-4 record. Second, I would have the Chargers. I think they'll be at about 10-7. Then I have Denver. I think Denver will be at about 9-8. And then I have the Raiders. I think the Raiders will be about 6-11. That's how I have it coming down in the division. I believe the division MVP will be none other than my homeboy Mahomes. He's just the best quarterback on the best team, who has the best coach. And usually that bodes well for you when you're trying to be an MVP of a division. But we'll see. The Chargers could make it interesting, but like I said, I'm not a believer in their coaches. I'm kind of just taking Andy Reid because he's the best coach in the division. I feel like Sean Payton he'll be getting up to Andy's level at some point. Fun. Yeah. I just don't think it'll be this year, you know.
Right.
But yeah, with the Chargers, I like everything that they do. But after watching them lose that huge lead, I'm not a Brandon Staley fan, and I think he caps out at 10-7 and probably loses his job. Who knows? Maybe Kellen Moore will take over and be the head coach. That'd be interesting. But yeah, I have Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders.
And I think Manny wants me to go next because I see that smirk in his.
No, you go last. You can go last.
Okay, all right, go ahead, Manny. Go ahead.
So, because mine's easy, I think I'm going to do the same as Mike. I have Chiefs, Chargers, but I think Broncos are going to be closer to the Chargers record and could actually squeeze in like a wild card. Is my thing. Chargers and Broncos could potentially be the two wild cards for the AFC, and then last is the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders are going to be good. And the reason I say Broncos is because of Sean Payton. The MVP, of course, you can't not say Patrick Mahomes, right, after what he's been doing. You could go Travis Kelce, but who throws him the ball? They're going to go Patrick Mahomes first. I think the coach, Andy Reid, you got to knock the person the winners, right? The champions before you can give it to other players. So that's kind of how I think. But Sean Payton's going to be a close second. I really like Sean Payton. I was kind of hoping the Cowboys, he wants to come home. I was hoping he would become the head coach. You remember how his defenses are. So I think the Broncos are going to squeeze, be a surprise team this year. So that's kind of mine. So Will, I hope you switch it up and put the Chiefs last again.
Switch it up and make them last again?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you said? Okay.
Yeah, because Mike and I are the same. We're agreeing. I mean, Mike and I have we're superior NFL knowledge because we're Cowboys fans. So we kind of think on the same level. And you're just a little weedy-beady 49ers fan. So you kind of have a small brain. So I'm curious.
Oh, man.
Okay, first of all, the past 2 years, who did Dallas lose to in the playoffs?
We're not talking about that right now.
Yeah,
no. Yeah, we'll get there to the NFC East. We'll get there. We'll talk about the NFC East, which I also predicted right. Anyway, so this round, I am actually not going to say Kansas City as last place.
Ooh, hot take.
But I'm not going to take them first. Because someone has to be different, and from there, I'm gonna actually say the Chargers. Like I said, I'm in love with how the team is going to be this year, but I am gonna genuinely say that the Chargers and Chiefs are gonna be neck and neck, and that's kind of how I want this division to end up. Like if the Chargers are going, if I feel that the Chargers are going to be division winners, that's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be done. It's the only way that it's going to be done. They're not going to be blown out. They're not going to blow out the Chiefs out of the water or anything. So for my take, it will be Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders. We all just don't like the Raiders. Sorry, RJ, and sorry, CJ. The coach, I'm actually going to still say Andy Reid. For MVP, why not? Because we still have to switch it up here, and I'm not a Kansas City hater. Let's just get that out of the way. I still want to make it neck and neck, and I still want to make. Why not Justin Herbert? Why not? Because
Brandon Staley for you got to go Brandon Staley for the head coach. If he wins the division, he's winning. He's going to win the head coach.
I don't have to because it is my decision.
Well,
so I'm still going to say Andy Reid. So take that. I don't know how that's plausible, but we're just going to make it. We're going to make it work one way or another. Andy Reid's a better coach anyway. And what else do we have? MVP. So MVP. Yeah. Actually, I already said Justin Herbert. So was there anything else that had to put in? That's it.
That's it.
Okay,
but I will say I think it's hilarious that you have so. It's okay though. That's what we're here for. But so I'm not mad at you. But I do think it's funny that you have so much faith in the Chargers, and then you constantly remind us about who your team beat the last 2 years. That guy's I almost said San Diego. That guy's in LA, man. And I just think it's going to be funny to see how that works out for Justin. He might lead the league in interceptions because he does
expect his quarterback.
Yep. So it's just funny to me how you have so much faith in them that guy's taking over now. when he couldn't beat you guys for the last 2 years, right? So we'll see. We'll see.
And
I never knew you were such a Kellen Moore fan, man. Kellen
Yeah,
Moore, okay.
I didn't know
Who
that.
knew? Who knew?
Who knew?
it's not Kellen Moore that I'm. It's not Kellen Moore specifically that I'm a fan of. It's his call playing. His play calling. Can't talk.
Okay.
Because one, that's how we won the game last year. Two, as
The last 2 years was his fault.
He's an undercover Cowboy fan. You like Kellen's style.
No.
Like Kellen.
So here, okay, no. So here,
You also
hear me out this time.
You also
so in this case, do you believe? All right. So in this situation, do you believe that we're talking about AFC East or NFC East right now? Anyway, so quick question: do you firmly believe that this year, that the Cowboys could beat the Niners this year with no Kellen Moore there?
Oh yeah, I feel like I can.
Well, we play a Sunday night, right?
Yeah, we'll see in October.
We play on a Sunday night. All right, that's gonna be fun.
Sure do.
All right, so the absolute last question that we have, and it's something that I have to look over the tape at. It's something that me and Mike actually talked about, and I'm pretty sure that it actually hit. You know what I mean, Mike? So the last question is: over or under 3.5 times, Manny talks about the last place Chiefs bet.
I probably talked about it twice.
You think twice?
Review the tape.
In the first like 5 minutes of the show, you did it once. So that was one. So
I think twice. I only did it twice.
About twice. All right.
I may have assumed, but I never actually talked about the bet. When I talked about the Chiefs, I remember saying that you owe the dance, but that's about it.
We'll see. When we talk about the Chiefs, we'll just generally see. I thought that was just a little bit fun, just to see what ends up happening.
Well,
So,
he told me he was going to do that. I didn't count, but I think he might have won. I think he might have. I bet the over. I'm not going to lie to you, Manny, but I think he might have hit the under. It might be okay. So, hey.
Well, you still haven't paid, so we're about to. Me and Mike are going to go on strike until we see this dance.
No idea what you're talking about. You saw the video. I already posted it. But anyway,
what is it? RJ and who? What was your other friend?
Oh, CJ.
They're going to be our replacements until you do the game.
But there's one more final thing that we're going to be doing today for the show, and it's not division MVP because we technically talked about that already. The last thing that we're going to talk about is which division that we're going to talk about next. So that is something that I have to present right now.
Mike. He is struggling. He needs us to talk.
I need you guys to talk.
Yeah, this is the time of the showbiz that we kind of fill the air because he is struggling. I see sweat on his forehead. He's like, "How do I present the screen?"
I mean, what can I say? My palm. See, look at that. My palms are sweaty.
Yeah,
there we go.
Arms are heavy.
Oh. Here we go.
So as you guys can see right now, this is who we have as far as who's going to be up next. So I never done this before. So here we go. I hope this spin actually works. So here we go.
Watch it be the NFC East.
Who we got?
NFC North.
NFC North. Okay, that'll be fun.
All right.
So NFC North, we get to talk about who? Green Bay. We're going to talk about
division.
Green Bay, Bears, Vikings, and
Detroit.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that sounds good. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for today. That was a nice one. I actually enjoyed this one. This was a really good one. I liked all the conversations we had, and I hope that everyone on the podcast as well as the YouTube, I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. The YouTube. Anyway, for the Next Up crew, I'm Will. For Mike.
Hey guys, it was a great show. I had fun. Time to go spend time with the family, but you guys did great today. I was just trying to keep up, man. So you guys keep up the good work, and that was a lot of fun.
For Manny being Manny,
thank you guys for listening, and please, like I said, if you like this kind of content, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. It's free. Make sure you tell Will how bad his takes are because I love reading them, and also tell me how bad I am because, like I said, I like to read those too to prove you guys wrong when they're right. So, as you can tell by Will.
So simply, it kind of sounds like you're saying, enjoy my bad takes, but enjoy your worst takes.
Yeah, exactly. Mine's more comedy. You had me here for entertainment. I'm just going to let people know I'm the entertainment, and you guys Will's supposed to be the smart one. So,
Supposed to. Anyway, that's it for tonight. You guys, you guys have a good night, good morning, good evening, whatever you guys are listening, whatever you guys are watching. Until next time, NFC North. Let's go.
See ya.